VF Valiant with a 225 slant 6, some kind of an automatic. I haven't looked into that yet. What an absolute beauty. It's only mostly surface rust on the upper body, and then there's going to be some repairs, but down the bottom, you can't sit in the paddock for all those years on your bum without there being some rust. I'm expecting rust in floor pans, but where it was pretty dry. If this had been left in a paddock close to where I am, it would be absolutely gone. See daylight through that rubber. Rust hole there. That's the only rust I've seen on the roof. A few dents, bit of rust in this guard. But I mean, compared to the Green Limousine, this thing's ready for the road. Bit around that pillow. Sometimes the doors open, sometimes they don't. It was a couple of hours away, so we had to hire a trailer, drive out, dig it out the bush, because it was down to, well, it was sat on the sill panels. Go back and have a look at it in, I might even put in the clip. I'll put in the clip from that last video that it was in. Yeah, it needs a steering wheel, obviously, and some seat repairs. The dash is in pretty good nick. I'm pretty happy with this thing, to be completely honest with you. I have a vision. I know exactly what I'm going to do with it, and I'm excited to do it. My son has a different vision. He'd like it pimped out. Well, I thought this was a column shift. I thought this was an automatic, but I've just discovered that it's a manual. We've got a fair bit of rust in the lower half, but nothing that scares me. It really doesn't scare me. All the bottoms of the doors are going to need patching. Sill panels will need replacing. Bottoms of the guards. Probably going to convert it to the later model diff and front hub axles, because hubs, I mean, because it's a lot easier to find later model rims. These early ones had their own standard rims, and they had the left-hand thread on the left-hand side. To be expected, there's rust in the boot pan, but overall, what an absolute beauty. Need a tail light. Yep, I'm absolutely in love with this thing. I never used to like VFs and VGs. I used to reckon my brother was right into them, and I once said to him, stupidly, ignorantly, as a 17-year-old, I said to him, why would you like a car that looks like it was put together by a sheet metal worker in his lunch break? What an ignorant idiot I was. Now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, look at those lines, they're just beast. My daughter reckons it looks like a lowrider. And it doesn't have the the compliance plate, so I don't know what its options were, but look, honestly, I reckon if I stopped the Green Limousine and got stuck into this, a few months it'd be on the road, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick to the process. I have my very clear line of what gets done when, but I've got to be honest, this one does make me itch to get going on it because it is so clean. I've got to get a tarp on it because it really does deserve to be kept nice and dry. I might even look into getting it chemically dipped. I don't know. I haven't decided. But it's a possibility, because chemical dipping, you know exactly what you're dealing with once you're done. There's no second guessing. Let me know in the comments what you think you would do. Okay, I've bent this up over there. If you don't have one of those, as I've said before, make one. There's plenty of plans and stuff on Pinterest and YouTube, and they're pretty simple to make. You can make it out of a couple of bits of angle iron. But make one. If you're going to do a resto, you want something to bend your metal. I took this little beggar here and I made a measurement, and then I scribed it, and that's this one here. And then I've taken the measurement here, right? Oh, come on. And after I've scribed it, I've added a little bit for the bend, add a mil or two for the bend, and then I've scribed that on top of that. So I've got this measurement plus this measurement plus a couple of mil on this side of it, just to compensate for the metal bending. Like when it folds, it uses extra metal. And then I've just kind of pushed it around. Well, it's that thing there, which is the bottom of that thing there. But anything that's a similar kind of shape to what you're going for. So if I put that here, you can see that it's following the line quite nicely. And then when I add it to this bit, we're in pretty good shape. I'm not even recording it. When I add it here, it's in reasonable shape. You know, there's going to be some bending as I go and heating and whatever. You usually will use the heat of the weld to kind of force it around. I might have to add a little bit of heat to get it to where I want it. It's not far off. But that will be where the windscreen sits in this car for the next 20 to 30 years. If we're allowed to drive them. You never know. The world might come back from its insanity and we might actually get to keep internal combustion engines. ICE. I'm addicted to ICE. Internal combustion engines. But anyway, that's a different subject for a different day. That's what I've made for that. I've got a very similar one here. I tried a few different things that didn't work out quite as well for over here. I tried using the planishing hammer and it kind of bent it into some dumb shapes. So I prefer this method. It keeps the line nice and sharp along the top. It keeps everything quite proportional. I thought it would kick a lot more. I thought I'd have trouble with the actual bend kicking, but it didn't. Maybe just because it's such a subtle bend, I don't know. That's where I'm at. I'm going to line it up. I'm going to tack it in. I'll cut you back in then, and then I'm going to weld it up. This one's all welded in. I've knocked the dents out of here. I know I said I would show you, but I forget. I get impatient and I get on a run. There's plenty of dents to knock out though, so hammer and dolly time will come up. Anyway, next bit will be where I've got it tacked in. Got him tacked in. Very pleased with the way that looks. It was a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be, I'm not going to lie. I'm sat on the scuttle panel, so it's really hard to get a decent shot. Hold on. Yeah, so that's it. Tacked in. And I'm not going to lie, that has been keeping me up at night. This whole roof repair's been keeping me up at night. It's okay to be scared and concerned and doubting your abilities and whatever, but how do you eat an elephant? I've said it before, one bite at a time. And you know, there we go again with that thing. That's going to be alright when it's done. And we had nothing there. And that's what you got to remember. If there's nothing there and you're starting from scratch, you just got to get in and do it. You can't let the fear rule. You know, this one here, I think this one actually turned out better than that one. With all the English wheel and planishing hammer and blah blah blah. I actually like the way this turned out. So that's the one I hand formed, majority of it. It's not, obviously it's still got work to do on it, but it was a lot simpler, and I didn't need any of the fancy tools, and it was, yeah, straightforward. It took a long time to do just because I had a lot going on this last couple of weeks, but we are moving forward. And once I finish putting these in, the window lips, I move on to the pillars, and then I'm just going to keep working my way around, you know. And I've got some holes to put in, to fill in here. I've got a big section to do over there, and the scuttle's going to be massive. If I look at it like that, I've said it before, it freaks me out. But I'm not going to let it freak me out. I'm going to get them done. I'm going to sand it back. I'm going to put a fill in it. I'm going to forget about it until it's primer time. Like until, you know, I'm get the high build on and I'm trying to get it perfectly straight and smooth, and then I'll come back to it and it'll be my concern then. But right now, this is coming along amazing, better than I was hoping for. Of course you hope for it to be perfect, and it's not perfect, but you've also got reality in there. And look, that, for something that had nothing, where is it? Is that it? That's this side. You know, oh yeah, there it is. And this is, again, like I said in my last video, or the other video, sorry. Like I said in me other video, I keep these bits, not forever, but for a while, to remind myself where I've come from. Because just like a big journey, big trip, you've got to take it, you know, one mile at a time, 1 kilometre at a time. You just got to keep doing it, chewing away until you're home. And when I look at this piece of crap that used to be situated here, and then I look at this, you can have all the critics in the world. Who gives a stuff? I know I did that, and I know that's going to hold my windscreen, and I know that's going to be a solid roof, and I know that's not going to rust out. I'm going to spray all kinds of U-Butte rust preventatives in this car to stop it rusting out. So yeah, you know, I've got a lot of I've got to finish welding up here, and then I've got to beat this out and figure out what I'm doing with this. I don't like this here. I'm probably going to cut this out and put a nice patch in there, because that's ugly. But if I don't, I don't. Still better than the bit that's not there. Do you know what I mean? But I can look at that roof line and I can see a finish line now. It's been, what, 3 weeks? But I don't care. I mean, I do care because I want this done, but I know it's, Rome wasn't built in a day. Focus up, little camera. Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day. And this Valiant won't be built in a day. But I can see progress. Getting primer on just makes everything feel better. Getting, you know, big sections welded in. Like doing those rails inside. which actually turned out really good, except you can't see it because it's too dark. But, oh, there we go. You know, they're not the prettiest things in the world, but they'll be solid. Remember, that's not finished off. I've got to turn it over and do that extra little bit inside and blend that all in. But, you know, it had nothing in there. And now it's got completely, fully welded, U-Butte flaming, brand new steel, zinc coated. We're winning. And when we're winning, it means we're closer to the the day we get to drive this beast. You know, it could be 6 months, could be a year, could be 2 years, I don't know. But I'll have confidence that I've done it right. Alright, that's it welded in. Put that edge on it. I'll grind that back with a flap disc. Again, being aware of the heat. And there'll be little pinholes here and there that I'll have to weld up. That'll be fine. But now the roof is the way it's intended to be. So that's that lip put in now. I've got a bit of tidying up to do here. Every now and then my wife just goes and buys me tools, random tools, and I think, what am I ever going to use that for? And then I'll be here like I was just a few minutes ago thinking, what am I going to use to clean that up? And then I remember, she bought me it. So, I've got an air sander that'll fit in there beautiful and clean that right up. She's brilliant like that. She always has been. Yeah, if your wife gets you random presents and you're not quite sure why, just trust that she has a bit of intuition and she knows what she's doing. Look at that, roof line is pretty flippin' good. I'm very happy. Like I say, still not done with this, but as far as that's concerned, pretty good. That's it there. The little sander thing she got me, air sander, Ryobi, Bunnings. So that should get in there. No worries on sand that. Let's have a look. Alright, time to mix up metal mend, metal tech filler, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it metal mend because that's what I've been calling it for 20 years. But okay, time to mix up some, I'm going to call it metal mend, that's what I've been calling it for my whole adult life. I went to get my scrapers and I can't find my actual good filler ones. So these are a bit rough, but for putting metal mend in, they're fine. I'll soak them in some thinners tonight and get all this old filler off. And I'll look for my other ones and hopefully I'll be able to buy some new ones if I can't find them, but they'll be there somewhere. Right, for this fill, if I can get this open. There we go. For this fill, we don't want a lot, because all we're doing is going over where the weld is. The body filler will take up, that's probably too much, the body filler will take up the rest, any imperfections. You don't want huge amounts, so we've got it as close as we can. Have a look there, it's pretty darn good. I've roughed it up with the edge of the grinder disc so that it's got something to hold to. Alright, so you've got your amount, and then it's 1 to 50, but you get good at knowing what's going to work, and you've got to adjust it to your climate anyway. If it's a hot day, you use less. If it's a cold day, you use more. There's a few ways of doing this. Easiest way I've found with this stuff in particular, because it's got fibres of metal in it, really thin fibres, is to start off doing it like that and just stirring it in. Alright, and then scrape off your scraper. Breadboards. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant for fillers. They give you a handle and everything. Alright, and then just work from the centre out and just mix it back over. My dad used to mix up body filler. Oh man, it was poetry in motion the way he did it. I've always tried to emulate it, but I don't know. Just something as a mesmerised 5-year-old watching him mix up his fillers was just awesome. And it never got any less awesome the older he got either. Anyway, when you've got it a consistent colour and there's no red shining through or blue or whatever, then you're good to go. You set you up. So we're just going to go along the weld line and down here, and we'll start with that. Alright, this is to cover in the weld. This is not to get it to our final stage. This actually sands really rough, so you won't get a beautiful fill off that anyway, because of that fibrous stuff in it. It doesn't come out super smooth. And it might look smooth, but as soon as you start sanding it, there's a lot of air holes, a lot of pockets. Now, if you pick up a bit of garbage on your scraper, it will leave a big line, and you need to dig out your bit of garbage and then just smooth that back over. Now, I just picked up a bit of garbage. So, ball of weld. So that's all I'm going to do there. You can see that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. That's now encapsulated that weld. I give that a quick buzz off with the grinding disc, with the flap disc, and then I go straight over it with the body filler. I don't get this. This is not, like I've said, and I'm repeating myself, but this is not to get an end result. This is to prep us for using the body filler. I'll just go along this edge here where I welded in the windscreen lip. And I'll just go over all that weld. When you're doing your filler, and I'll show you this after, but it's a good idea to go around to the panels that you've already prepped and just put a little circle with a texter around anywhere there's a tiny little low or whatever, and then that way, if you've got a little bit of extra filler, not this stuff, but if you've got a little bit of extra body filler, you just chuck it straight in, and then you can fill up your loads with your spare stuff. You're not wasting any filler. As you get closer to the end of the project, you'll find that you've got filler left over and nowhere to put it. That's just a part of the action. It does. You can't do much about it. You can't invent spots to put it, but still, yeah, bear that in mind. Okay, so that's where we've ended up with that fill. Obviously still got down here to sort out, but yeah, that's all we're doing. I've got some metal fill on this repair here. A bit more than that one over there, just because there's a few shapes in it and whatever. So I've just done a big fill on that, but it's still not a thick fill. You can see, you know, there's not a lot in it. This is the pillar that I cut off. I've got a sacrificial section up the back there for my charger, but the pillars on my charger are okay. I went and had a look at them, so I've decided to utilize the pillars off that CL. It's the one out the back that I was showing you before. I will use that to splice in and replace these, because that's better than that by a lot. So yeah, alright, gonna get on with that then. Gonna mark it out, cut it out, and then I'll come back. Got the pillar in. It's not welded in, it's just in place. But I've linked it up. So this is Green Limousine's original. This is a CL's window. Comes in, they're together. Come up here. I matched up where the cut was here with where the cut was on the original pillar. And then what I've done is I've done a step. So this is from the CL, this is up over the VJ metal, right? And then here I've stepped this, where are you? I've stepped the CL metal down. So basically what's going to happen is you've got like an L shape, to give it extra strength. So you can see it's, maybe you can see, maybe I've got a torch. Hold on, I've got a torch. You're looking at nothing. Ta-da! Alright, so, God, it's awkward. That's where the CL meets the VJ there. And then if you come around the other side of the pillar, see how it's down? I think I might have stuffed up a little bit because that's not lining up perfectly. It's sitting in there good though, it's tacked now. So I'm about to go and grab the door, and I'll chuck the door back on and I'll see how the door lines up with it all. And then I'll decide whether I'm going to make some changes over there or whether I'm happy enough with it. I think it's only really going to be the width of whatever that overlap is there. So realistically you've got pinch weld that goes over that with where are we, pinch weld that goes over that. I don't know, I have to think about what I'm going to do there, whether I'm going to leave it or move it. I mean, that is not stepped in that much, so it might just be that also they might have changed it between the models as well. They might have decided if we save that extra bit of steel, because car manufacturers do this. If they save that extra bit of steel over 1 million cars, that's a lot of steel, do you know what I mean? So I don't know, I've got to look at it and decide. It could come out maybe 1 mil, but I think that's more than 1 mil's difference. I don't know, I'll put the door on and I'll make a decision. Alright, this door is being a pig and fighting me the whole way, but I've got, again, remember we're just roughing it in until we're ready to pull the trigger on everything. But that, see how that is touching the door frame? So I've got to cut here and lift this up and then re-stitch this blooming part of the roof here. This will happen to you on occasion. Don't stress about it, just make the decision to make the cut, sort of thing, you know. I've fixed that inner lip. Ow! I just stabbed myself with the flaming bonnet hinge. So that's I don't know if you can see it. Hold on, where are we? That's the lip now. So there's not much in it now. Can you see that? Alright, so I'm going to go and weld all that up because I'm confident that that's pretty good. And yeah, nothing more to say about it really. I've got to put the inner lip in here, put the filler bit in here, tie it all in. I'll put a little patch in here and a little patch up the top there. Patch. That was something I keep meaning to say. I never throw away my scrap ever. Like, I've got little bits of, where are they? You'll never know when you need, you know, a little right angle bend that you've cut off something, or just a little tab like I cut off when I made the inner lip here. Keep it all and you'll use it. You'll be amazed when you go, oh, I just need a bit so big, and then you go, oh, I've got this. Alright, I'm going to take the door off again and weld it up again. I've got to admit, just transparency, I'm getting tired and I'm sick to death of doing this roof, and I can't wait for it to be over. And then I've started looking down here going, oh heck no, I'm not freaking starting there, I'm done. I'm going to come over here, or I'm going to go up the back and do the boot. But I'm sick of the roof. I need a holiday from the roof for a little bit. When I had to do those inners and then welding this one in, this didn't go well at all. That one over there, beautiful, perfect, never been happier. This was a pile of crap. I've had to cut it, I've had to re-weld it. Just not happy. So you have your wins, you have your losses, but just keep going. Don't give up, that's the main thing. But yeah, move around. So I'm sick to death of these pillars and this roof, and I'm sick to death of looking at it. So once I get my final skim over the top there, I'm going to go and play somewhere else on the car because I've had it. But end of the day, you know, you've got to remember where you came from and where you've ended up. This will happen throughout the whole project too. There'll be days I don't even want to come out here, I'm sure. Haven't got there yet, but I'm sure I will. Okay, we're welded in. We're filled somewhat with the metal mend. I'm not happy with this side compared to the other side. I'm loving that. I'm not loving this. This is ugly. It will be beautiful by the time I'm done, but yeah, this one kicked my butt. Anyway, that pillar is in as much as it's welded the whole way round. So I've got to neaten all that up. They're ugly welds. I had an ugly weld day. Some days I have beautiful weld days. Today I had an ugly weld day. That is just tied into the scuttle where it was. So that's not finished. And I've still got to put, I hope I'm not making you dizzy, I've got to, because that was all rotted away, you can see it's all rusted. So I've got to make up sections to go in here and tidy it all up, and then, you know, make the side of the scuttle, or plenum, or whatever you want to call that, Yeah, the pillar needs a lot of work. We're getting into that soonish. But like I say, I'm sick to death of this. Can't wait to be done with this particular bit. Still got some work to do. So, you know, probably another day on it at least before I'm happy to walk away. This is ugly. This is all got to be cut and reshaped and, like I say, kick my butt. But I did tell you guys I'll be honest. And I pride myself on my honesty. I always have. I used to lie like a rug when I was a kid, but now I try really, really hard to be honest as the day is long, because I don't see any point in telling you fibs. So yeah, it's in, it's solid. It'll be beautiful when it's done. It won't be full of bog or bondo or body filler or whatever you want to call it. But it will never be as nice as that, because I'm just in love with that. Anyway, I'm waffling. Alrighty, that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully next time I have that pillar done. We've got to do sanding that back and fill it. I've got some holes to fill under there, so I don't know whether I'm going to put another section in there to finish that off, which I probably will. I don't want to have all new metal either side and then, you know, holes in the guts of it that are patched up, so I'll probably do that. Alright, be kind to one another. It's free to be kind. Be blessed, and if you want to help me out by hitting like, subscribe, or just by sharing it, I'd appreciate that. But that's all up to you guys. No pressure. Alright, catch you in the next one.